Hey Pepin.
Yo, 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 yo.
Hey, you wanna learn how to play D&D?
Sure. Is that the game made by like the creators of Game of Thrones? I mean, not the creators, but the showrunners. D&D.
No, it's not that. It was made by Gary Gygax forever ago.
Oh, Gary Gygax. I've heard that name. It's like the GG. That's where good game came from.
Yeah, exactly. That's what GG stands for. Every time you play a good game, you're just like Gary Gygax.
It's an homage.
It's exactly to the OG GG.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind playing some D&D. I've never played before, so definitely gonna be a learning experience. But hey, we can see how it goes.
Awesome. I'll write a quick one off right now in the time that it takes for the music to play, and then we can get right into it. Do you have an idea for a character?
Yeah, her name is Kira, I guess.
Well, perfect. We'll have you introduce her after the opening. I guess we need to roll.
Molly?
Are we doing a different? Oh man, we need to talk. Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us. I am here once again with my best friend Nathan. Pepin, how's it going today, Pepin?
Yo, I'm doing well, and I am excited for this wonderful game called D&D. How about you, Meader? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited for you to try out D&D. I've been playing it for a while now, and I know you're going to like it. So hopefully my story works well for you. But today you're not playing Pepin for the first time in quite a while. You're going to be playing your own character. Can you introduce us to your character and maybe a little bit about their backstory?
So, my character's name is Kira, and she's a half-elf rogue, I think you would call her. Now, the rogue portion of that is a little bit complicated because in a previous job, she was an assassin. So she's kind of like going over more to the rogue area. But, yeah. So how in depth should I go here, Meader?
As much as you wrote a pretty lengthy backstory, so I would love for people to hear about the backstory. That way, if it comes into play at all in the story, and it will, they'll be able to follow along and be the audience will be like, oh, I understand like why that's relevant.
So let's just say she can speak that language, or if that's a language.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
it is.
Feel free to interrupt me at any point here, because it's a little bit lengthy, but I think it's pretty straightforward. So Kira was essentially adopted into this like wood elf clan. It was like pure wood elves back in like the middle of the woods, and it was called the Dynast clan. And when she was growing up there, it wasn't really that bad, but they had like a weird sort of thing where she didn't actually have like foster parents. Rather, she was kind of raised by the clan, and the community were kind of her parents. So she always kind of felt this weird sort of distance. And also the Dynasty clan was also kind of strange. Like they weren't, they did things a certain particular way, and they didn't quite resonate with Kira. But, she just kind of went along with what's going on, and she liked everyone well enough there, and she would fight for them, but it just never had a sense of belonging. So, granted, the clan was out in the forest. There would be a lot of different factions that would come by and demand payment from them. It'd be different factions at different points. The Dynast clan would always just kind of like go along with it and comply with demands because they wouldn't want to cause trouble. Say a certain group was demanding payment, and or ever say demanding too much, or they started like causing issues, like like attacking some of the village members. What the clan would do is they'd pray to one of their gods and say, "Hey, please help us." And it seemed like the gods always kind of sorted it out, because as soon as they started praying for the gods, like then someone might die, or all of a sudden that clan would stop asking for much payment, or stop asking altogether. So Kira always kind of found that a little bit intriguing growing up, because it seemed like, hey, I guess prayer works. When Kira was about 10, she fell under the leadership of someone named Riva, and Riva began training Kira in spying and assassination. with a little bit of training there, she completed her first mission, and she killed the local queen. I mean, technically, no one else would consider this person a queen, but in that region, she considered herself a queen. Everyone just kind of went with it. And the queen was demanding, like, say, twice the payment from the dynasty clan. And at this point, kind of Kira realized that the god that was being prayed to actually wasn't sorting all the stuff out. Rather, it was, like, the clan itself. There were, like, some secret assassins inside the clan. And whenever there's an issue, essentially they'd pray, and the assassins would kind of, like, see that as, like, a sign or, like a affirmation to go out and kind of take care of it. You know, Kira was also told that Kira could never tell anybody about this, because if this information got out, essentially their clan would be done for, because all these other clans would know, hey, they're the ones who are actually murdering all these people. They're actually causing all this riffraff, so we need to get rid of them. So Kira got incredibly effective with her, say, assassination abilities and just like abilities in general. Her biggest strength was being unnoticed and learning, say, new skills. She tended to go the disguise route, and the disguises that get her noticed, like chefs, maids, beggars, and she'd usually just do a bunch of observation to find her best line of attack. She had this sort of androgynous, or she does have this androgynous look, so she kind of looks like, if people don't know, androgynous means kind of like having both characteristics of male and female. A good example is Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. Like, a lot of people mistake her for being like a boy, but she's obviously a girl. But she can kind of like essentially, you know, dress herself up in a certain way that makes looks like either. So she can kind of fit into both roles. And the only thing that really she couldn't dress up as is like a warrior, because she's like very kind of small and dainty. Like, so she was going to root a poison, and it worked out pretty well for her, but the issue is, granted, she's not very strong or good at fighting. Whenever it kind of went wrong and people became suspicious, she would just have to like leave, because once people were suspicious, then essentially they would, you know, say, inspect everybody. They would, start getting super tight down, and this is where she would just have to escape, because essentially she blew her load. She actually learned this really interesting technique, because she has one job where she was supposed to assassinate this target who was known for getting weekly massages, and so to kind of capitalize on that, she ended up learning the art of massage and acupuncture, and the plan being that she's going to go in and kind of like give this guy a massage and, you know, assassinate him that way. And something that she actually learned was, with acupuncture, you could actually take a needle and stab someone stab it with them, and the person wouldn't even notice. And she found that just like amazing. So she kind of honed in on that, and she was able to concoct a poison that she could actually like apply to the needle and stab the person with. And then that poison would, say with weaker people, kill them. With stronger people, it could knock them out. And that became her go-to. So a big way that she would use this after is she would say bump into people on the street, kind of to stick them with a poison needle. They wouldn't even feel it, and then that person would die a little bit later. And so that was her big method. And she also kind of got another method of killing people, where she kind of like devised this little like sheath type thing. So essentially it's like a little like sheath that goes around the needle that can hold in the poison, and she could stab it into herself. So she would have like this in the back of her like calves or something like that, so she can actually sneak these little poison needles in without anyone noticing.
Okay, so she's still with the Dynast clan?
Kira started getting more and more complex jobs, and the reason is because Riva had kind of taken control of this organization, and she was like a political genius with this. Like, her schemes went very, very deep, and she was often pinning certain assassinations on other groups, and then, you know, have like double and triple agent sort of stuff. And the clan kind of weirdly gained a lot of power from this, though if you're looking from the outside, you'd never guess that. And it's almost like Kira became like a shadow ruler of the region, but no one knew that besides, say, Kira, maybe one or two other people. And as these jobs got more complex, where Kira was like being a double or triple agent, Kira kind of was not keeping up and was kind of losing the plot. Like, number one, the jobs became very risky, and it became harder and harder to escape if she needed to. She had a couple like times where she almost could have gotten killed, and luckily managed to escape. And the other thing she kept on running to is like these plots get so deep that she would often forget the people who she was supposed to be serving. So like she'd be asked, "Oh, who do you serve?" and she would get the wrong name, and that would kind of get her found out, and it'd be super hard. So eventually Kira talked to Riva about it and confronted her, And Riva said that she understood and that she would be assigned to, say, less politically deep missions. And Kira was kind of relieved at that because she was getting kind of give it. So during a new mission, Kira kind of got this weird feeling. She's at a bar. The bartender gives her a drink, and she kind of recognizes the voice from somewhere, and it seems like it's from a previous mission. So Kira declines the drink. She leaves, kind of like stalks him for a bit, and then she kind of gets him with a poison needle, and then she kind of confronts him and kind of interrogates him, and then she hears a bunch of things the bartender's saying, that he was hired by so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And she kind of follows the trail because she kind of knows how Riva works because she had this suspicion. And she figures out that Riva put a hit on her. Now, of course, Riva didn't do the hit directly because this guy wasn't hired by Riva. He was hired by like a, 2 or 3, rungs out. But it was kind of Riva's plot she figured out. So Riva, knowing that she's pretty much dead, she stays around here. Kira finds out she's pretty much dead. She decides to flee. And right now, she's in a weird state because she's super paranoid. She wants to make sure that she's not going to get killed. She thinks Riva's going to kill her. Riva's very skilled. Riva only got caught here because her organization got too big and there's too many players involved for, to make sure everyone's good. So she's very, very paranoid and has a little bit of conspiratorial thinking that everyone's trying to kill her or everyone's like a double agent trying to get her. Kira is mostly avoidant of people, so she doesn't want to get into plots, and she doesn't want like big rewards right now because the more that she has, the more she's a target. The more people see her face, the more she's a target. She's just very fearful of her life right now. So that is all really awesome. That gives us so much to work with. So some of the highlights that I wrote down: your character is the half-elf rogue Kira. She worked for the Dynesta clan under Riva, who was and still is the leader, was her old mentor, and has reason to believe is trying to kill Kira. And there are 2 big rival clans, the Haper clan and the Sendites. There's a really you're right now you're kind of on the run, just trying to lay low, keep under the radar and not get found by Riva. Right, exactly.
Okay. Well, fair enough. And finally, what's your alignment?
So I took the alignment test and it ended up being chaotic neutral, which I have I read about it, what it does. Still not entirely sure what it means. So if you have any good explanation, maybe for me in the audience.
The chaotic neutral, I'll just read it from D&D Beyond. That'll explain it better than I ever could. Chaotic neutral creatures follow their whims, holding their personal freedom above all else. Many barbarians and rogues and some bards are chaotic neutral. So it's a lot about your own freedom, not being bound by any organization specifically, and kind of fending for yourself, which sounds very much like Kira, fending for herself, not really reliant on any other organization or bound to any at the moment, at least. Right. And from the sound of it, even when she was part of an organization, she never felt like she was really bound by it. It was more a convenience factor.
Right. And she went along with it, so she wasn't just doing her own thing. She went along with it, but they kind of stabbed her in the back, so now she feels like she can't quite pledge her allegiance to any group. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. So we're good to start then. So what we'll do is we'll kind of set the scene. Kira's been on the run, and right now she finds herself in a very off the radar, low key, kind of seedy town. It's a port city. It's called Thier, and she's just been kind of kicking around. I mean, you might be able to explain a little better than I what she's been doing, because most recently she maybe as early as last night, or maybe it's been a little bit, she's completely run out of food and money. Has she been stealing to get by? What has she been doing exactly?
So she's been taking some super low level jobs, things that aren't very glamorous. She's killed a few rats for some people, and she's done a little bit of stealing too, but she's a little bit worried with the stealing. She could have taken a couple more jobs and gotten some more money, but she either found all the jobs too risky, either that, or she thought the jobs were like setup jobs where Reva was trying to like get her in. So she's kind of, she doesn't necessarily need to be starving, but she's kind of starving of her own volition.
I see. Okay. So you wake up in the morning. Is she an early riser, late? What's
Tends
her?
to be more of a late riser.
Late riser. Okay.
Yeah, because she tends to do most of her work at night.
Okay, so it's late morning, maybe even early afternoon, and you wake up in the room that you've spent however many nights in at the Muddy Waters Inn in the port town of Thier, and you audibly hear your stomach grumbling. You head downstairs and are immediately met by the owner of the inn. Her name is Elia, and in this town, pretty much everybody's a mermaid. Right now, they are in their human form, and because it's a port, there's tons of people come and go, so you can lay pretty low just being there without being noticed because of the nature of this, and because it's kind of seedy, so nobody really talks about the weird shit that happens here. But Elia walks up to you and says, and how have you been enjoying your stay here?
Kira says it's all right.
Okay. So gonna be the end of the week here shortly, and the funds will be due. I expect your tab will be paid up by the end of the week, by tomorrow evening.
What happens if I don't pay?
And she kind of cocks her head to the side a little bit suspiciously, and she's like, well, we would of course need to get the police involved at that point. I mean, we could always work in trade if you have things to trade. I'm happy to work with you. Might I also suggest the job board? There's plenty of jobs going up. I saw a couple of fairly lucrative ones pop up shortly, and she motions with her hand over towards a wall where there's like a very clear job board with a bunch of postings. Maybe that's where you found some of your jobs previously.
Okay, and how long do I have again? Is this a week? Is there some flexibility?
Tomorrow evening would be the end of the week, so I would expect payment in full by then.
So Kira kind of gets a little bit anxious there, especially with the whole like guard thing, because if it was just like the innkeeper, she would just kind of bolt and run town. But given, is this place like a big city, or like how big is it?
It's pretty small. The majority of what happens here is all related to the docks and the trading that's going on at the docks. So everything's kind of related there. It's not the most of the population is coming and going from the inn, so this is a fairly normal conversation for Elia. But it's not a massive town, no. It is fairly close to the nearby Leominster, which is like the big trading town in the area.
Okay. So Kira's gonna ask her, what job do you think is the best? Like, can you tell me a little bit about the people who posted these jobs?
There's different people coming through all the time. It could be somebody who needs a one-off job. It could be, there's some work over at the monastery, of course. There's plenty of different types of work. If you just want to check out the board, you're welcome to take a look, and most people have their name written right under them.
Okay. Would you be able to tell me anything about the people who, let's say I found one I liked. Would you be able to tell me anything about them? Because I just like to know who I'm working for.
I know a lot of the people here. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Okay. So Kira's going to...
I don't... Go ahead.
Yeah, she's gonna be eye the board and kind of, she's deciding to go over there and look at it because she's a little bit too worried about the police.
Okay. And little minor point of order. Feel free to use like I statements as you're like taking on the character, and if you change your voice a tiny bit for your character, it will make distinguishing very easy, so you don't need to say like Kira says or when you're saying, because then I'll be able to just know the difference.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so you walk over to the job board and take a look. There's the usual stuff up there. You've peeped the job board before, but probably never done it. From the sound of it, you haven't taken many jobs off of it. But some pretty generic stuff up there. There's an ad for a live-in maid. There's some apprenticeship stuff for like blacksmiths and Fletchers. There's a prostitution request up there, a meetup, if you will, an advertisement for the clergy. There is one specifically that kind of catches your eye, and it has in quotation marks retrieval of lost item, and there is a massive price tag associated with this. Unskilled workers typically make 2 silver per day. Skilled workers, like a blacksmith or something, are usually paid like 2 gold per day. This retrieval of lost item is for 50 gold.
I see. So that's like it's like
2 months' pay for a skilled worker, give or take, or 1 month's pay for a skilled worker, give or take.
Okay.
This would have you set for like your tab right now is like 1 silver per day for 7 days, so it's like 7 silver, which is 7/10 of a gold.
And how much am I behind?
You're behind 2 weeks right now.
Okay.
So about 1.5 gold, give or take. Plus, you would need to buy food and all that stuff.
Okay. So I'm gonna take both of those. Actually, I don't want to do the speaking voice. So Kira's gonna take both of those contracts, and she's gonna bring it over to Elena. Was it?
Mm-hmm. Which contracts?
She's gonna take she's gonna take the maid contract, and she's gonna take the retrieving a lost item one.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna take them over.
Okay. So real quick before you do, the maid one says, let me pull up a thing for this. Says that it is somebody named Lattice who is looking for this work to be done, and to just go knock at his door for more information. And it says like he lives in whatever Water Street or whatever, 13 Water Street, and then the retrieval of lost items says to meet at the bar at the inn at 2:00 p.m. for more information, or between 2 and 6 p.m. For more information. And right now it's like 1:30.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I gotcha. So I'm gonna walk. Over to the innkeep.
Elia.
Hey, so I got a question here. This right here, this lost item one, that should cover my rent, right? Or wherever I go.
And she looks at it and she goes, "Oh my, that yeah, that would more than cover it. I wonder what the item is, because that's a lot of money. You could live for a very long time on that."
Okay. And what do you know about the person who made this contract?
For the lost item?
Yeah.
And she looks at it. She's like, "Honestly, I don't really recognize it. It must be an out-of-towner."
Okay. And how about this maid one? Do you know anything about this person?
And she looks at it and she says, "Oh, Lattice. Yeah, he's kind of a beach bum, if you will. Purple hair. He's the son of the town leader. He's kind of got a surfer vibe, if you will.
Okay.
And honestly, I would kind of doubt that he's looking for a maid. I'm genuinely surprised by this. But they've had their maid for a very long time, so I'm not sure what's going on there. It sounds kind of weird.
Do you think there'd be free lodging?
Honestly, I'm not sure. That may be part of the package, but from what it looks like here, and she looks down at the pay line. She's like, "It looks like the pay isn't really that great. It's like a silver a day." for full cleaning. So, I mean, if that included lodging, that might be worth your time. But if not, honestly, that's kind of like a side gig.
Okay. So that might do. Okay, I think I've made my decision. Thank you very much for the help. Let's hope I get you your money back.
I hope that as well, Kira. Are you using that name or are you using a different one?
Right now I'm using... That's a good question. I'm using...
If you say Light, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind.
Gina. I'm gonna use Gina.
Gina, okay. All right. I do as well, Gina. You have a very peculiar way of speaking.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Well, what are you doing?
So Kira's gonna go back up to her room, and she's gonna grab a couple supplies.
Okay.
And she is going to leave. And she's gonna go down to a certain area on the dock, and she's gonna. It's like a little hidden area where she can change her appearance. So she's gonna change her appearance into more like a not an older looking man, but like a middle-aged man.
Okay.
But who looks still kind of young, like a baby face, like 30-year-old guy.
Okay. Cool. So she's cosplaying as me.
Yes, without the beard.
Okay. All right. You do so.
And then she is going to contemplate a little bit in her head about what her plan is, because ultimately her thinking right now is she needs to get her tab paid off. So that's probably going to be coming in with that one contract, with the recovering the lost item, and then she can have a little bit of wiggle room. But then she's thinking that maybe the maid idea would be a good idea, because that can kind of get her by, and she wouldn't have to worry about this whole taking job after job to get something more stable. And if she changes her appearance enough, and maybe looks different, maybe no one would notice it was her. But she's gonna have to figure out who this guy is and scope him out, maybe. But
okay.
First, she's gonna go to the inn where the lost item contract is.
Okay. And it's just past 2 now, you think? 30 minutes to walk down to the docks, change, and come back? An hour?
I think, yeah, let's say that.
Okay. It's 2:30. You walk in, and you see the usual crowd there. Except you do see one person down in the back, kind of like hidden off in a dark corner of the bar, just drinking. Big old beard. Looks human, and looks to be like a sailor. And he's sitting in the spot that it was indicated on the contract that they would be in.
Okay. Do I recognize him at all?
No. Actually, go ahead and roll a history check. Recall. Yeah, let's just do a history check. That's fine.
Let's see. Where's the history?
It is one of your skills, and they're in alphabetical order.
Oh, there it is.
All right, and we're rolling through D&D Beyond. That is a 14 minus 1, 13. Okay, that's typically when I DM, it's a shifting scale depending on what you're doing, how difficult it is, things like that. But I like 10 or more as a pass, and less than 10 is a fail. But that is a shifting scale. It could be a 14 for certain things or whatever. So keep that in mind, that a 13, a lot of people are like 13, that's awful. It's all, for me, it's really not. Yeah, you don't recognize him, but he looks a lot like every other sailor you've seen. And they come and go very frequently. So it's not like a unheard of or super suspicious thing to see somebody that looks like this. They just look like a typical sailor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Kira's going to go over to the... actually, does Kira know the bartender or whoever the innkeep is?
Yeah, that's normally where you would eat in this town, is at the bar. And the barkeep is Typhon.
All right, so
he's a merfolk as well, but he typically stays behind the counter in merfolk form. Behind the counter is all water, so it's like water is behind the bar. and he doesn't like to come out into human form.
Okay. So Kira's going to try to get his Typhon's attention, and she's going to ask, "Hey, Typhon, quick question for you."
And he swims over and he says, "Oh, can I help you? Who are you?"
"Hey, that guy over there, do you know who he is?"
And he looks over, and then
don't look at him. Don't look at him.
He quickly looks back at you. He's like, no, looks like a sailor."
Oh, okay. You think he's cool?
Can I look at him again?
Oh, okay. Just once.
And he like very quickly like looks over and looks back. He's like, "Seems cool.
Okay, cool. Okay.
You ordered a pretty cool drink.
What kind of drink?
Beer?"
Did you make it?
"Yes."
Okay, good to know. All right, thank you. So Kira
And he nods.
is going to walk away, and she's going to approach this guy. She's a little bit apprehensive because she kind of feels like this might be some sort of setup there, which is why she checked to see who made the drink, because she figures that she might be offered, part of the drink, but she just wants to kind of get the lowdown. But she kind of like is slapping herself in the face because she realizes that she may have been being a little bit too obvious there.
Okay. As you approach, he looks up at you.
"Hey, I'm here about this contract. This is the contract that you presented, right?" Or
Just to be clear, is that the voice she's using with this middle-aged man disguise?
Good point. I was sticking with the same voice. Hold on.
No, I appreciate that.
Okay. "Hey, yeah, let's go with that one. Hey, is this the contract you posted on the board?"
And he looks at it with one eye, and he's like, yes, that'd be mine."
Okay. What can you tell me about it? What kind of lost item I'm looking for? I mean, there's not much information on here, to be honest.
And he looks side to side, and he says, "You best be sitting down."
Do I have to?
And he like motions for you to sit across from him. He says, "I prefer we keep this on the down low."
Okay. So Kira sits down.
All right, and he like leans forward and is speaking in somewhat of a hush, and he says, "I seem to have lost an item, if you will." And he kind of looks to the side, and he's like, "Well, less lost and more sold. You see, there's this painting that I really likes. Used to sit in me captain's quarters. But now I had to sell it to get repairs on my ship. Now I want it back."
And you want to be stolen back, is that correct? Or what's the game here?
I mean, I would be happy to pay for it. I have since gotten me treasure that I was out searching for. But the person that I sold it to refuses to sell it back, even at a markup. I want it back.
I see. And why does this painting have significance to you?
And he smiles. He's like, "It's a very special painting of a mermaid." And he like does like a crude gesture like around the chest area.
I see. You're a man of culture. Makes perfect sense. Okay. And is this payment absolutely verified? How do I know I'm going to get it if I give you back this?
He thinks on that, and he says, "I mean, I can show you right now." And he pulls out like a coin purse and drops on the table and opens it up, and inside there's tons of gold coins. Very easily there could be 50 gold coins there. It's clear he has the money.
Kira kind of like gets a little bit startled, kind of starts kind of jumping back, but then she realizes she's going to bring more attention because she's seeing all that gold, and she's going to realize that everyone's going to be looking that way now. So she's getting like super freaked out. Oh yes, that is quite a bit of gold there. You can put it away, please.
He swipes it off the table and looks around and sees that no one's noticed.
Okay. What can you tell me about the job. Like, where's the painting? Who has it? Why do they have it? Obviously, you sold it to them. How attached are they? How many guards do they have? And where does he sleep?
Lots of questions from you, mate. I don't know much about him. I sold it to a local magnate. He goes by the name of L. I can give you directions to his house.
Okay. How dangerous is this L? And what's the magnate?
A magnate, like someone rich, someone with a lot of power and money.
Okay, that might be a problem. And how many paintings are there with different, say, well-endowed merfolk? I'm not going to grab the wrong one. I just want to make sure I'm going to get the right one. Is there anything that marks it specifically?
Our signature in the corner. And, of course, there's only one painting of this nature. If there were more, I'd just go get another.
I see. Okay. I am going to scope it out. Is this a good place to meet you again? Because I'm going to scope it out, see what I can find. If this job is low enough risk, I might take it. But if I find that there are way too many guards and way too much going on, I will, of course, let you know that I will decline.
I'll be in town for the week. I'll come here every evening.
All right, excellent. It's great to meet you. What's your name again?
They call me Salty Sal.
Salty Sal. Are you also a merfolk, by chance?
No.
Okay, you're just kind of into that sort of thing then. I get it.
Who's not? And he holds out his hand, and it's very gross. And he says, "And your name?"
My name is John.
A pleasure to meet you, John. Are you just staring at his grubby hand?
Yeah, just kind of staring, and I almost start making a gesture like I don't have hands, but I realize that's not going to work, so I just give a wave and walk away.
And he goes back to drinking.
So Kira's going to attempt to leave the bar now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she is going to, as soon as she gets out, she's going to get this like big rush of like fear and anxiety, because she realizes like how like she's never very good at like playing characters and playing people. So she realizes like how dumb she's sounding and how much she's just kind of like outing herself accidentally by trying to play it cool. Mm-hmm. And like there was way too much of a chance that someone might notice all that gold and might see her and recognize her. And then, even though she's dressed up, the people in her town still might recognize her, or people that she knew. So she's like super freaked out and kind of like anchoring towards maybe not taking this contract. But she still thinks in the back of her head, maybe to check it out to see what's going on, if it's easy enough.
Okay. And you were given a very crude map, very, very reminiscent of a treasure map, that kind of shows the general outline of the town, and then some dots that lead up to like a hill, and up on the hill is a big like mansion, and there's a big X in it.
Okay. Gonna look at the map and see if I can find where that maid person is.
Okay.
The person who had the maid contract.
They are down in the residential section. Let me.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead. I'm gonna do a thing in the side while you're doing that.
Cool. So Kira's going to try to get like a little plan here, and her plan here is she just wants to talk to the maid contract person to try to get that, get her foot in the door with that, just to scope it out. Because if she can say, she's worried that job's going to get taken and she won't be able to get it. So she's going to go in and to that place by the dock again, and she's going to change up her appearance to being like super feminine, like just very dainty looking. And she's going to go to the maid contract guy.
Okay. I did send you a map of Thier. It's super basic. I made it in MS Paint. If anybody else wants to see it, I'll post it in the We Need to Talk I'll make a D&D section or something at some point, and I'll post it there, so you guys can follow along if you would like. I only have 2 maps. They're super basic. I wrote this in like a week, so I'm also borrowing some characters from a longer session I have, because sometimes you just need a character suddenly. Mm-hmm. Like when you're like, hey, what about the barkeep? I'm like, I already have that written. Okay. So you can go to 13 Water very, very easily. It's in the residential, which is due south of you, and it's the 13th house in the road. So
she gets changed and she goes there.
You knock on the door, and a purple-haired guy, he says, hey, what's going on?
Hi, I'm looking for the person who posted this contract. Does that happen to be you?
I've posted a picture of him in the D&D section. He goes, yeah, whoa, that was me. Wow, you looking to do some maid work?
So the picture looks to be like a very sexy mermaid with blue skin. I assume he's not in his mermaid form right now.
Correct. He's in his human form, if you will. So just where there's scales, there's feet. I like to imagine that their like human legs are actually like kind of scaly though, but he's probably wearing pants.
Okay. And sorry, I got distracted there. What was the question?
He said, oh yeah, I posted that. Why, you looking to be a maid?
Potentially. Is there free lodging?
And he looks you up and down. Go ahead and give me a deception check for your disguise. Do it with advantage because you have proficiency in your disguise kit. So anytime you roll with advantage, you roll twice and you take the bigger number.
I see. Where's the... Oh, there it is. So I'll go 1. So that's an 8. So 11 with my modifier. And then roll a second time. That's a 7, so 10. So it looks like it's a...
An 11?
11.
He looks you up and down and he's like, I mean, yeah, we might be able to work something out.
Okay. And is the pay accurate? Is that pay including the lodging, or is that in addition?
Well, the pay would just be for the work. But if you need lodging, we could work that out too, as being part of the pay.
Awesome. So, when can I start?
As early as Monday.
Okay, that's good. 'Cause I have something to do. I got a friend to see. But, okay. So, I'll see you then. What's your name again?
I'm Lattice. And you?
Oh, I'm Susan.
He says, all right, well, I look forward to seeing you again. And he winks.
Kira kind of gets a little bit of a shudder down her back. She's had a couple jobs which have gone that kind of way, and she's never enjoyed them, but she's kind of done them. But now that she's like more free, she's kind of like not taking those kind of jobs. Mm-hmm. But she also kind of thinks, I don't know, free lodging, that sounds kind of nice. I'm getting sick of this like innkeeper pestering me for money.
Fair enough.
And don't want the police. So Kira's gonna give her a little salute, and she's gonna walk away, and she's gonna plan to get changed back into John. Not John. She's gonna get changed back into like a different outfit, one that she doesn't do very often. It's gonna be a female kind of look, and she's gonna wait till nightfall to kind of investigate this place where this guy's living.
All right.
For the missing item contract.
All right. It is nightfall, and you head to Elle's mansion. What are you doing? How do you approach?
That's a great question, and I think a question that we should continue in a part 2, because this episode's getting a little long. So, hey, part 2's coming out. It's going to be the descent into the mansion, and who knows what's going to happen in there. I do, because this is in post. Hey, we need to talk. That wasn't forced.